Hey, what's up? This is Kojo. So over this weekend, I came across a tutorial by Kyle McDonald using a new face tracking software called FaceShift Studio or FaceShift Studio. And I learned about it through some classmates of mine. Kyle McDonald actually teaches in my program at NYU ITP, and he teaches a class called 3D mapping. I'm not in a class, but out of curiosity, I just went through the tutorial just to play around with the software. This is the tutorial. Just search Kyle McDonald Face Shift, and you should find it in Google. It goes through pretty much how to set up Face Shift. Talks about Face Shift OSC, and in his tutorial, he uses Face Shift and OSC to control certain outputs in Ableton Live. So what I did, I went to the FaceShift website, and oh, ignore that. It's my email. And in order to get this software, it's in beta right now. It's in beta stage right now. You have to actually submit your information, and they actually go through each of the requests. And once they go through your request, they'll send you a link to download the software for your computer. And so I got the software, I went through the tutorial, and I just wanted to show my experience with FaceShift. I didn't do anything with OSC as far as like what Kyle did with Ableton Live, but I have an interest in 3D animation, 3D environments, so I'm kind of curious to see what you can do with FaceShift OSC in software such as Maya or Unity 3D. I know when you download this, you actually get access to a plugin for FaceShift in Maya, so I'll play around with that a little bit later. Once I get some, once I have a little bit of progress with Maya, then I'll post something new. So just let me show you my experience with FaceShift. So this says FaceShift Studio Beta. And as you can see here, it's a setup stage, and obviously you need, for this to work, you need a Connect, or I think they mentioned another piece of hardware that you can use. I forget the name. Just go to the website. I'll let you know what type of hardware you would need in order to make this face tracking work. But I had a regular Xbox connect for Xbox, and I picked up my, I guess, depth math. Can't even talk right. Depth map, and also the next step in this process is, this is the model, and you can see to the lower right is my depth math, and there's like in the upper right is my camera view of me. And in this section over here, you see a number of expressions. Like this is the neutral expression, and you kind of like you try to like match yourself as much as possible to this expression, then you capture it. And you go through a long list of expressions like open, smile, browse down, browse up, sneer, jaw left, teeth, frown. You get the idea. And once you go through all of these expressions, capture all of these expressions, everything's pretty much explained in the tutorial. You build your profile, and let me load, because I actually did this several times, and some profiles are better than others, so it takes a little bit of trial and error to get it right. So the one that I have is not perfect, but it will do for this demo. So go into tracking, and pick me up. You see over here the options like there's a model. Well, you need the model in order to see yourself, but you can do it with the wireframe or without the wireframe. You can do it with video. So yeah, this is me, Kojo, and yeah, it's pretty accurate. It catches my, like when I did the profile a few times, it didn't really capture my mouth movements that well, but this is actually better than the earlier profiles that I did. Another tricky thing is, if you do it right, it picks up your eye movements. So it's going to take me a little bit of trial and error to tweak it to make it perfect. And another thing that you can do is, oh, I don't want to see myself anymore, so let me take the video off. So this is me, but also you have the option of, you see over here targets, so you can have your expressions mapped onto an avatar. So right now it's at none, but if I want to, I can become a white man, and as you can see, it's pretty freaky that how accurate the movements are. There's also Slimer from Ghostbusters. It's an homage to, yeah, the Ghostbusters, and a pug, an orc, for all those into the World of Warcraft. And let me just stay at being a man. So as you can see, it's eerily accurate and makes you think about the possibilities as far as face tracking. In the tutorial, Kyle McDonald mentioned one example of face tracking. I forget the name. Just go through the video; he'll explain it. And he mentions one face tracking that it's very good for like large venues. If you're gonna have like interactive piece and a lot of people are gonna like have their faces mapped, this would be a great software to use. But in this case, this is very user specific. You have to. Everybody's gonna have their own model. Everybody's gonna have their own look or expressions. Like this model vaguely looks like me. So if you try it, it's gonna be, it's gonna like resemble you somewhat. So yeah, so it's very user specific kind of face tracking. And one thing that interests me, like I mentioned before, was its use of OSC. So you can use OSC signals to communicate with other pieces of software that are also use OSC. So in the case of Kyle McDonald's video, he used his movements to control output in Ableton Live. And I would like to somehow use OSC to communicate to software like Maya, or software like Unity 3D, because as you know, people use Connect, and Connect can map your movements based upon like the position of your joints. So it'd be interesting to create an experience in which your joints, your movements of your limbs are not used, but the expressions of your face control the entire experience, whether it's in an interactive experience or in the case of a gaming experience. So I'm kind of curious to see what people are going to use this piece of software for. So there's a lot of potential. So I think right now for me, I'm going to actually explore more of the Maya plugin that came with the download of FaceShift Studio, and see what I can do as far as modeling. Also, Kyle McDonald mentioned its use in open frameworks, so I may explore that as well. And also I would like to kind of explore it also with Cinder and other devices that accept OSC. So let me show you. I can't even talk about OSC, but you wanted to kind of curious like how are the signals communicated. So as you mentioned in the tutorial, you go to network and you do network streaming, and when you download the FaceShift, it comes with, let me go to applications, it's in there, and FaceShift. So we see here, let me change to somebody else. Wait. Let me see this plays, man. Let me go to Pug. Yeah, I like that. So let me. So this is FaceShift over here, FaceShift OSC. So signals are being sent to localhost 8338, and if I open this application in Osculator, you'll see over here. Let me just move this out of the way so you can see the dog. See over here that this entire row lights up. Either green or yellow, or it remains grayed out. And every time, let's say, I move my brow, or I can say gesture brows down, left eye, right eye. Whenever a gesture is I initiate a gesture, it activates the row on the left, and it sends like a signal, and it activates an event through MIDI CC. So right now I'm kind of curious. Well, I'm gonna kind of explore what can be done. Also, I want to explore what can be done in Ableton Live as Commodano demonstrated, but I also want to try it in other pieces of software. So this is the stage that I am right now. So be kind of curious to see where others go with it. I'm kind of curious to see where I'll go with it. But right now, this is a pretty on point piece of software, and I'm kind of curious to see. Well, I'm kind of curious about a lot of things. I say that a lot, but I'm waiting to see what this beta will evolve into once it's in full development stage. So this is all that I have for now. Once I get more, I'll post. So I think next time I'm going to explore a little bit more into the Unity 3D, if I find some kind of like C# script that will make me able to communicate OSC to Unity, and I'm going to play around with the Maya plugin and see what happens. Alright, talk to you later.